right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. All right, so welcome. I just want to say thank you guys for watching the BassPod. I'm going to introduce you guys to our guest today. I'd call him Grandfather Raver, my boy Malik.
What's up, y'all? Malik. Have been pretty much in the scene. I went to my first music festival in 2017, so I was 19 years old. So went to Bonnaroo for the first time, got hooked there, and since then it's been a wrap. Honestly, I didn't listen to much EDM. Like I knew all like the classics like Clarity by Zed and whatnot, or maybe like some stupid party rock stuff. But like the first time I actually heard dubstep, I hated it. My boy Raekwon was trying to get us to go to our first Bonnaroo with him, and he was playing all this music in the shop that we worked at, and it was all dubstep. And we were always like, bro, turn that shit off. Like I cannot stand to listen to it. But no, before that, I was mainly just like hip hop, R&B, country, like all the normie genres for real. I think before then, I had maybe went to one concert, and it was like a Chris Brown concert when I was like 12. Okay. So that I hadn't really gotten into live music literally whatsoever. Like I always loved listening to music, and like I always had it on in the background 24/7. But in terms of like going to live shows and like seeing concerts and going to different like clubs, like never. Flume was headlining that year. I don't know if it was 2017 or 2018, but the last two shows of the weekend were Travis Scott into The Weeknd, which was super fire. Okay. No, it was actually so crazy. And Marshmello too. I think Marshmello was a huge one. Or that might have been 2018.
So what was out for? What was popping for Travis Scott? That was like, was that Antidote? Was that?
Oh yeah. Antidote. Oh yeah, that I think. Goosebumps back then too, maybe. Oh my God. Yeah, Antidote, okay. Goosebumps, bro. It was packed in there. The biggest Bonnaroo stage and the main stage. I believe that's the What stage. Okay. So The Weeknd was closing out the festival on the What stage. Oh my God, The Weeknd. Yeah, yeah. Shit. And it's crazy because he sounds like in person the same, maybe better than what he does on his actual soundtracks. But it was just like, so we were all seeing Travis Scott on the Witch stage, and it was just a big old rager. And then everyone literally was like a mass migration. Because there's like a bunch of different acts like closing out the festival at the same time. But it seemed like everyone was at Travis Scott, and then everyone just kind of migrated over to The Weeknd. It was crazy, bro. The only festival I did in 2017 was Bonnaroo. But until the next festival I went to was the actual Bonnaroo next year. So that was my immediate next one.
So a full year.
Yeah, and I think 2018 is the year that I really fell in love with music. So 2017 was cool. I saw like DJ Snake, Flume, like all the mainstream artists that like I kind of knew about.
DJ Snake and Flume, bro, especially in 2024, that's huge.
Laser back then, so it was like actually like
yeah.
So that was dope. So that like got my foot in, but it made me like between that and all the hip hop acts, it made me like more excited to like dip my foot in and go again next year. And then the next year after that's when like EDM started to blow my mind, because I remember like that Friday night we went like from Khalid into now canceled, of course. So I mean, God. but no one can deny like it was nice.
We'll bleep out.
Yeah. So we went to go see Khalid. Yeah, we went to saw. And then to him, and then it went right into Virtual Self, who was like Porter Robinson's alter ego. So that whole night was insane, and like along with like Space Jesus and G Jones. Okay. Bro, it was just like so much more EDM and like dubstep mainly.
If there was like a big point where people were like really getting into EDM and starting to listen to just, I guess, dubstep in general was probably like, everybody says it, like Skrillex. It starts off with Skrillex.
Yeah. I missed the whole Skrillex phase.
Maybe like some Narrow, like maybe people listen to like some Odessa, like 2016 or whatever. Sure. Like Odessa started popping off, but I think so you said this was 2017 for you?
So the first Bonnaroo that I went to was 2017, and then the one in 2018 was the one where I like took that leap too. I think Odessa was at Bonnaroo 2018 too. So bro, the lineup was stacked. I don't want to say it's like lawless, but it's just like a very freeing environment. Like you go there and you don't like. People will say like you can like feel the vibe or whatnot. You can literally feel all the love in the air. Everyone, all the togetherness, and it's just so peaceful there. And like that's a kind of peace that I had never really seen in real life. It's hard to find. You can't replicate festival peace in real life. It's like literally just not possible. So that feeling of like just the the initial high five line walking in, like everyone's just excited to see each other, like all the group, you know, singing and whatnot, even walking into the festival. It's like all that, and then when you put in like the actual like production and live experience of like staying up all night, listening to music, like you get to see dubstep on like the actual screens. It's that like it hits different live. Like if you've been to a festival or show, like you know that dubstep hits different in person. Like it's something that you have to experience to like enjoy it.
So to also just give like a little background too for anybody that say they're coming from a concert to like, all right, I'm doing a festival, and say it's like Bonnaroo is a mainstream festival, but it's definitely like way more hardcore than
it used to be grassroots too. It's like slowly becoming more mainstream, but it's like it wasn't always like that though. I just liked how the DJ was able to just like impact everybody's mood just by like the tracks they were playing. I thought that was like a really dope thing that you could just, you know, generate happiness or generate whatever kind of vibe you want to with your DJing. So I always thought that was pretty cool, and I also thought it was really cool how they would like mix like hip hop and EDM together. So I wanted to see if I could like, you know, do it myself. I was like, man, I could probably think of some crazy like shit in my head that I could mix together. And so I bought the decks, was practicing on that for a while, and honestly, it's just like it was a cool hobby for me, but it also makes you respect the artist a lot more for what they're doing. Because the people up there DJing, I would say most of the time are like masters of their craft. Like it's something that they've been working on. Like obviously the production's a whole different story, but like the DJing alone is a skill set, and it's like that could completely like alter whether the DJ is like. There's a difference between like a good and a great DJ, you know, the way they mix.
It's more than like, for instance, just I'm gonna press play on as everybody thinks like the most common like the DJ what do DJs even do? What do DJs even do? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, and I'm not some sick DJ, but you can tell when a DJ is sick at mixing. Yeah. Like I think probably the best DJs like in terms of mixing that I've seen, bro, is like Disclosure at Electric Forest was one of the cleanest DJ sets I've ever heard. What year was this? 2022 or 2023. I can't remember.
Pretty recent.
Yeah. So and that was some of the cleanest mixing I've heard. Everything was like to a T. And like, it's harder to mix different kinds of music, but like the way like Illenium mixes all his like melodic dubstep together too, bro. He's also a genius mixer. And of course, Subtronics is a monster on the decks in terms of like just being able to use like. Four at a time and whatnot and transition the way he does. But you know, but that's just goes to show like a DJ's, bro. His DJ skills can like all those people I named are headliners. It's like they're all great at the art of actually DJing. Like they make great music, but they can also DJ really well.
What do you think is probably the biggest like barrier of entry for probably just like people trying to get into EDM?
If I was just an average person who hadn't listened to it, I'd probably look for some popular song that I've heard on the radio where I can start more mainstream, because I even like how, you know, Illenium's most popular songs, like I feel like everyone has at least heard an Illenium song on the radio or like a Griffin song on the radio, just because they're like very mainstream. Chainsmokers, exactly. Yeah, so that same genre, and you can kind of just like find that song on like an artist page and then kind of explore from there, like make a radio on Spotify or whatever app you use to kind of find more music like that. But I would say find something you like and try to get to a live show, because a live show is what really I feel like flips the switch. It's like, okay, this music is good, and then you mix it with like the live component and like all the hopefully good vibes in the air depending on like the artist and the people they attract. But I think really getting out and seeing it live is the thing that really flips the switch in people's heads for sure.
Yeah, so in terms of just visuals and like, I mean, I think naturally too, like the more you hear just any type of live music, and you, again, like you said, the appreciation grows, right? You like going to a hole in the wall show is not the same as like, okay, I'm gonna go to like a 2-day festival, like and like the stage, not even in just terms of the people, but the stage design.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
And I think another one goes into just the amount of like, I think the preparation too for just how many people make the festival run. I think that's like probably the most like under aware thing. Like there's like, you know, there goes into like the elements of like, okay, people have to take care of parking. I mean, all those people that are sitting outside too, just like selling food. Like, let's be real, like people are eating that food.
Bro, festivals are good for the economy, man. We just need to have a festival in every freaking state. But no, it's pretty amazing how it all comes together, man. I mean, just like because. You know now because you've been to a bunch of festivals yourself. It's like you can tell when it's ran smoothly and when it's not. Like whether it's like the way maybe some of the staff treats you, or the lines for the water or the bathroom, or just like general production, sound bleed, things like that. Like you can tell which ones are well ran and which ones aren't.
I think the one thing that I realize at least is at these different festivals, you kind of have to gauge how safe you have to be for your people.
Yeah, for sure.
What I've realized, especially after day one, is everybody goes too hard day one.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's for sure.
I think also too the most awkward stuff happens day one.
No, for sure. Because it's also like, depending on, I don't know if you're going like solo or if you're in a group, like it's also that first night where like, because usually how we do festivals, like we always try to get everyone to bring someone else, so like the group slowly starts growing. So that first day is like when everyone is actually together, like we're setting up the campsite and everything. So no one, there's gonna be something happening while someone's setting up the campsite, or like there's gonna be some people missing, wandering around doing their own thing. But you have to set up the campsite. You have to make sure you're ready to go out for the first night. You got to make sure everything's prepared before you leave, like tent set up, things like that. And then, all the people that you haven't met, you're kind of like meeting and meshing with. So you're just getting that general vibe. But I think like at the end of the first night, when y'all are walking back to the tent, it's like, all right, these are my best friends for the weekend. It's super cool. But it's a warm up and,
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like the icebreaker element of like, for instance, say you go on a cruise, like I guess it's kind of similar. Like you kind of like, you take yourself away from reality for what, like 3-4 days, depending on how crazy.
That's one of the best parts, man.
I mean, also too, like that's not even counting the people that go like the pre-festival.
Yeah.
Right. Have you been? You went to
early entry for Lost Lands every year. The Thursday pre-party is a must get if you're hitting Lost Lands. But if I can't, and I think for Electric Forest we went an extra day too. So I mean, if we can get that extra
day. So you guys are getting 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days, and it's like that first day. It's mainly just so we can beat the lines. Like no one wants to sit in line to get into the festival for like 3 to 8 hours. Potentially. True. So it's really just for us to go get our bearings, and so we can like get in line without having to wait too long.
Say for instance, right? You first get to a festival. What's the first thing you look for?
Looking for the porta potties. I gotta know where I'm stationed at for the weekend. Just because I'm gonna have to be making like if I'm camping, I'm gonna have to be making trips back and forth. But I'm looking for the porta potties and the water station. Those two things.
Man doesn't even look for water. Man just goes, I gotta use the bathroom.
Hey, bro, it's important. There's gonna be times where it's like 4 a.m. You're like, damn.
Normally, when people are thinking, okay, the first we're walking home after the first night, they're thinking like, okay, it's 1, 2, right? Yeah. But a Bonnaroo is 6 a.m., 5 a.m., like every time of day, every night, right? And and it starts at like 2 p.m., right? Most days, I think, or like 4 p.m.
I mean, you could, I would say, probably main lineup starts at 2 p.m., but you could probably get in there a couple hours early, and there's people just like, bullshitting, running through the fountains or whatnot.
How do you gauge, like next year, that festival's the festival for me, like at least financially? How do you think that you justify it?
No, for sure. So I would say when I first started, it was a little different because when I first started, I was a broke college student. So it's like I remember going to my first Bonnaroo with like literally like maybe $50 and like some like Lunchables that I picked up from the grocery store, and I wasn't buying any food inside the festival, and I was carpooling with Raekwon or a bunch of other friends or whatnot. So it's like that's a lot different from how I approach it now. Like now I have a good job, which is good. Like I can provide for myself now. So right now I would say it's more so about, it's not really about the funds, but which like I said, I'm blessed. I don't have to worry about that. But it's like, it's more so about, have we been there before? Because we want to experience something new. And then it's like, I think every festival can be good, even if the lineup's not good, depending on the vibe. So, but to some extent, the lineup like does matter. So it's like, have we been there before? Is the lineup worth how far we're going? So I would say at first it was definitely about funds and just seeing where I could kind of tag along, where we could get a group to go and have maybe trying to make it as inexpensive as possible. But now it's more so about, venturing out, trying new things, seeing all the different, different festivals we can hit and whatnot.
You don't necessarily have to determine like, oh, I have to go to a festival. Like I honestly think, especially now, I mean, we see it all the time. Like you can go to a show for 20, if you get it early, you can go for $25 and it's a headlining artist at a festival.
Yeah, absolutely. And like now you have like these curated events, like Excision's got Thunderdome out there on the West Coast. I think Subtronics just did like a Cyclops Zone or something. Grizz does Space Camp. Yeah. So it's like you don't even have to like go to like these 3 or 4 day festivals, bro.
That's Dead Beats.
Yeah, and like if you're lucky enough to live in Denver, like all the Red Rock shows that come on, that's pretty much like a curated event too. So like there's a lot of options out there, really, man. Like I have some friends from high school that don't listen to EDM at all, and I've been begging them for years to come to a show. One of these days they're gonna come. But I feel like I'm gonna have to drag them to like a curated event first before they commit to the festival.
So Pretty much, these are commonly asked questions
Okay.
from Google.
Why do ravers love lasers and fire? I mean, who doesn't love lasers and fire, to be honest? No, but it just adds, the sound quality is already so crispy and like you're going there for the music, but that added visual stimulation, dude, I think, I don't know, what it is about each person specifically. Like maybe someone's like a pyromaniac or something, but I think like in general, like there's something in the human body is like attracted to, like humans have always been looking at fire and things like that. Like it's always been something that humans will like celebrate around and stare at. Yes. So to see it like presented to you in such like a crazy way, along with like the visual stimulation of the lasers, which already looks crazy. Depending how intoxicated you are, they may look even crazier. So I just think that added stimulation, man, plus all the good vibes and the music and all that combined, it just adds to the great time.
Bro, you get shot in the face with a laser. You're like, oh my gosh.
It's just so surreal to see them, especially with all like the different kinds now. So you have like all the wavy ones and they're colorful. Maybe it's raining and then it looks even more majestic.
Yeah, it's like lasers
sparkling,
beaming off of each other.
Yeah, so it's just like, man, it's like, what I'm hearing is already immaculate. Now what I'm seeing is already immaculate. It's just like peanut butter and jelly, man. It's just like, it just goes together so well. What are must-haves at a fest? I'm kind of like a minimalist. Like I'm not that person who's going to be like draped with like a fanny pack and like a bunch of different things on my back or whatnot.
Do you even carry a camelback?
It depends. Like me and my girl, we might share one for the night. So maybe one night I'll hold it and one night she'll hold it. Like I usually wear one just so I know, I have water or whatnot. But I would say, so obviously the camelback, 10,000% can't go anywhere without my pashmina. Can't. Okay. I have to. It's a head wrap. It's a scarf. It keeps you warm. You can sit on it. Pashmina is like a must-have for anybody for the most part. Some comfortable running shoes that I can wear around. I used to do festivals in Vans and like these big hiking boots, and it was cooked at the other night. So some good. I've learned to just go with some running shoes. It's like you could have the most fire fit. I promise you, the raver's not out there looking at your shoes. Like everyone will like peep the fit and be like, oh yeah, that's good, but definitely a nice pair of shoes.
So I think a common one is overalls.
Yep, I love overalls.
You think overalls are no shave?
yeah. So as long as they fit, it's good. But the only thing about overalls is that a lot of them, you have to, when you get to that porta potty, you got to pull down the straps and like bring them down like that. Yeah. So you got to try to avoid the bathroom a good bit. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, probably the worst time to have overalls is anytime you need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, as far as the fit goes, they look great with the fit. And then I would say my last item, probably just a pair of shades.
Yo,
even at night you can put on some shades. Maybe you're a little too messed up. You don't want people to see you like that. Shades, like if you're uncomfortable, shades.
Pashmina, shades.
Yeah, pashmina and shades, bro. That's all you need for real.
I'm a little surprised you didn't say your kendama.
Oh yeah, my kendama too. It's like, I love ripping kendama at a festival, and I think it's like great because like people like to watch it. It also feels good, just you practice it at home, so it's like that's showtime when I get to the festival. That's a good one. I wouldn't say it's like my necessity, but I would absolutely I bring it everywhere. Like I love having it around. But
it makes it one of those things like, what the fuck do I do with my hand?
Yeah, exactly. I can stand here all day and bob my head, or I could be ripping kendama and doing like a bunch of other other shit while we're waiting, or like between shows, or like the group is just sitting down getting some water, and I can just I can just play with it while I'm waiting and like spending the time. So it's. Yeah, no, kendama's crucial. I mean, nowadays.
Kendama, honorable mention.
Yeah. What are the biggest issues in festival culture? A lot of festivals will like they'll have like maybe drug testing sites on like the festival campus or whatnot, which I think is like super cool and super necessary. But a lot of festivals like will be like kicking companies out that'll test drugs, and they're like, I think like Bunk Police and like all the other bigger like drug testing brands like on the festival grounds, like you post stories about them like getting kicked out of places and not being able to like set up a booth. So I think just like having that accessible to everybody throughout the festival, because it's a music festival, things like that are going to happen, like people are going to partake, so you want them to be as safe as possible. It's the difference between like a bad festival and a good festival. Like having medical tents available and whatnot for all those people. And like I said, like I would hope, and like in my mind, most people are responsible users, so it's like a slim margin that are actually not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
There's hundreds. There's always stories, like no matter what, things are always going to happen.
Exactly.
But like there's hundreds of thousands of people that go to festivals every single year and don't end up getting in trouble.
Right, exactly. And we only hear about the bad ones. So it's like the perspective is definitely skewed.
How much does a festival actually have to do on their end to make sure that like people are being safe on their campground. Like for instance, I was in an RV right this year, and like it's one of those things when you're in an RV, like you can lock your doors,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
people aren't
for
gonna come
sure.
in, but like people are wandering around
If
campsites.
if they want something, they're gonna do whatever it takes to get it. I heard like a few cars get stolen every year. People getting their tents like sliced
So
open.
speaking of, actually, I had a homie that got his car.
See, I didn't even know that.
At Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
At Bonnaroo
See, and I
this
didn't
year.
even know that. And that's what you're see. Phone theft. Phone theft. I guess it's a big one. Yeah.
Have you gotten your phone stolen?
I have.
I've gotten my phone stolen.
I have.
Where did you get your stolen?
Lost Lands 2019, I believe. I got my phone stolen. Yeah, it was like on a Saturday night.
Was it obvious? Were you like, did you know, or was it like one of those things where you're like, damn, I should have had, like, I wasn't paying attention?
So I actually knew, but it was like a very packed situation where we were transitioning stages, but I was also being a dumbass, and I just had it sitting in my pocket. So I literally felt someone take it out of my pocket, and then I like looked around, and like it was just so packed I couldn't tell who had it, and by that point it's just like, oh, well, it's gone now. Like there's nothing I can do about it. But now I keep I always keep my phone like the down bottom of my hydro pack. Like I barely take my phone out because I'm like I don't need anyone taking it.
I mean, naturally,
yeah. And like people have like the flip belts now, which I really like a flip belt too. So I don't have to worry about that at all.
What's a flip belt?
So it's like a elastic belt that you can strap around your waist, and the pockets are on the outside, so you can put like a wallet, a phone in it, and then flip it. So then it's all covered up and it won't fall out. So instead of like having a fanny pack or something like that, I'll just put my phone in my flip belt.
It's like way smaller.
Yeah. You can't even tell you have the flip belt on because your shirt just goes right over it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I love my flip belt, dude. That was honestly, I could have put that on the necessities.
My phone's gotten stolen, and I had mine on the phone leash.
Yeah.
I thought the phone leash was enough. I knew it was coming again, like you're talking about, like that transition in the crowd. I had it clipped to my fanny in my front, and I put it in my pocket for a second, and then I remember I saw these dudes coming. I was like, they look kind of sus. As soon as I grabbed it, pulled it out of my hand, somebody knocked it, like hit the back of me, knocks out of my hand.
They hit a lick on you.
Like it was so insane. Flies out of my hand. I'm like, oh hell no! I yanked the phone leash back. It's just my case.
That is insane,
just my case.
Bro.
Whoever that was, they definitely they must have seen me multiple times. They must have walked by me multiple times. I didn't notice them.
Right.
I probably didn't acknowledge them. Just
they were acknowledging you.
They're like, oh, this.
They're like, hey, it looks a little loose.
Yeah, that big motherfucker. He's recording.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go get his shit.
Yeah.
What is the best festival for first timers? For someone who doesn't know what they like, something like a Okeechobee or Bonnaroo are probably the best festivals because they're multi-genre. So it's like there's gonna be something for you that you end up liking. Like it would be different if we were like talking, what's the best first festival for people who like love house music or dubstep or something like that. So it's like I would say just if you like electronic music in general, I would say Electric Forest is probably a good one because the vibes are so easy going there. Security's lax, easy in, easy out. The production's always insane every year. But if I'm just like in general, have never been, like a little bit everything, but haven't really dipped my toes in anywhere. I would say Bonnaroo or Okeechobee. The thing about those is just like you just have to commit to it because those are like 4-day festivals. So it's a lot of work to kind of get there. But
you also don't have to do 4 days.
Exactly.
I think that's so much of the pressure too. Exactly. Is like for instance, like I think literally nobody wants to be that one person in the group that's like, wait, my friends are going for 4 days. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go for 2 days. Like but like you have to do that.
You do, and I'm like. I know there's a lot of 2 and 3 days out there that you can hit up. I honestly don't know enough about those because I think it depends how long I'm driving. Like if I'm gonna be driving 7-8 hours, I'm not just staying for 2 days. Like the only time we did that is when we drove down from North Carolina down to Florida for Sunset Music Festival right in COVID, and that's when we were all itching. We were all itching for something.
People were fiending.
Yeah. So it's like a 12-hour drive for 2 days, which kind of sucks. But you got to get your fix. But yeah, I'm sure there's like shorter ones. Like I think if you like EDM, like Hijinks in Philly is good. Just a big old convention center, 2 days. Bro. Like Hijinks is lit.
So I'll say Hijinks is one of those festivals where it gives you that warehouse feel.
It does.
This is like fucking grungy.
Yeah,
feel.
It is.
But
for sure.
At the same time, it's like it's so sick. The visuals are amazing. The production's amazing. It's all in like a big room, right?
It's not that hot in there either. It's like somehow they keep it like air conditioned, which is strange.
I'll say the most concerning part is the moment the festival is over. Like, let's just say, like, guys, when it's 12 p.m. and that last song,
lights on,
lights are on.
Bro, it's like it's like herding cattle out of that thing, bro.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They will literally let zombies onto the street.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like a Walking Dead scene with everyone just wilding out of there. So, and then when you get outside, it's like ice cold fatties. There's people throwing balloons in your face and whatnot. It's like, God dang, man.
Yeah. So I think hell yeah. Like again, I think Philly's hijinks is great. I think Philly is a little. If you can't handle Philly,
yeah, exactly. You just got to make sure you just got to make sure you're going straight to the festival and straight back.
But what are the best and worst moments of a festival?
So the worst moment is by far packing up and leaving. That sucks.
yes.
So I mean, if that counts, that's absolutely the worst moment.
Day 4, there's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Or I would say. It's like you've been standing out there, and then like you got to use the bathroom, and you pull up to the bathroom, and the line's long. Or same thing with water. So it's just like waiting. So the festivals that aren't as well run, and the lines are crazy, and you're like, bro, like what is going on? Yeah. It's like, and you got to wait for the general necessities like water, bathroom, things like that. Man. That is the worst.
That is actually, I think that is the worst. I think literally standing by the bathroom, waiting to use the bathroom is probably one of the worst moments of every festival.
It is, bro.
And like it's the most common. It's a common evil that everybody must endure.
Right, because most people are, going to the bathroom is reactive. It's not like, oh, let me go now so I don't have to go later. It's like at a festival, you're prolonging it as much as possible because you really don't want to go. Yeah. So by the time you get there, it's already game over. It's already GG. So when you get there and you see the line, that's it's a violation.
There's always good times, but when it comes to like the bullshit, it's always when. People gotta piss, bro.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People be fighting by the bathrooms all the fucking time.
Setting up the campsite and using the bathroom, man. That's when it's like a lot of positives. That's a small negative.
And the best part of just festivals in general.
Yeah, I mean, so I would say just the general sense of unity is like what the best part. But if you're asking for like a certain like situation that I think is the best, I think it's like always sick to where maybe it's like the headliner or your favorite artist coming on. Maybe it's like prime time, like. Anytime between like 10 and midnight. And like, it's like the anticipation of everyone just like sitting down waiting for it. And then when the artist comes out and everyone's like standing up and that first drop comes on and just everyone goes crazy. Like those moments when you're with like all the homies and like your loved ones and stuff and you're all like sitting there and with everyone else like just as amazed, just as hyped, just as ready for it. I think that's like unbeatable, dude. That's what keeps me coming back. I'm like, dang.
Where I feel like I felt that like a shit ton was Fred again. Or I mean, you didn't go to Post Malone, right?
I was not at Post Malone. Yeah, I was at sudden death.
Like when I say like there was people crying.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Crying, ready for Post Malone, like losing their mind for Post Malone, and like
it's beautiful.
Like
it's
bro, I won't even lie. You just hear like the beginning tracks start, and like you just know, like you're like, oh, we're in for like
oh yeah,
a ride, like for a good hour and a half, and like
you can feel it in your chest too, and the bass is in, and you're like, God. Dang.
I think that's one thing I've realized is like when I'm like hyped as fuck to see an artist, like I'm like, oh shit, like this is who I came here to see. Like nobody else matters. When Bonnaroo's lineup came out beginning of last January, especially our group of friends, because we were committed.
Right.
We're like, we're going Bonnaroo.
Yeah, no matter what.
Going Bonnaroo.
People got to see it.
I think the first instinct was like, that lineup dropped and like there were some heads that were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, are we really going to Bonnaroo? Over some of these other ones with this lineup? Yeah. That's true. That's fact.
And I think it's like, again, you said it like earlier, you got to commit because you can't be like putting layaway on 2 festivals because at that point, like your bank account is getting drained.
Yeah, it's getting cooked.
And like we've had friends like, dude, they've gone to 2 festivals 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah, back to back.
What have you done that?
No, I've done some maybe like a month apart, but not ever like.
And what are your thoughts on the back to back?
So worth it. It's like a lot, and like your brain might feel a little scrambled for a few weeks afterwards. But I don't know about back to back weekends, but like a month, I could do like a month in between.
If you could fit it in.
By a month, I'm like itching for the next one.
Okay,
I'm like, man, I can't wait to go back. And I would say, before I forget, honorable mention. The other best part is going back to the campsite with the homies and just recapping the whole
Yeah,
night. Like you
bro.
weren't all just together the whole night. And all the crazy stories that come up at the end of the night. I think that's 10 out of 10.
Bro, you never think you could feel so appreciated for like being that one dude that has gum.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
Or
like-
the one dude that has a fan.
Right, and the homie is like, I was dying out there. I needed
You-
some gum, and
you
you just
had
whipped,
me.
you just pulled it out of the
Yeah,
pocket
yeah.
like it wasn't nothing, bro. It's like, I
Yeah.
love you for that, bro. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
And it's like
damn, bro. All right,
it's
let me.
like, damn, bro, I just give you gum. You're dead.
I'm gonna bring gum every time if you gonna treat me
Yeah.
like this.
Like whoever you had that festival with, like you won't forget.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can know exactly who's in what group and
very
whatnot. Yeah,
And
for
like-
sure.
You know, I think personally because like I drop the EDC vlogs and the vlogs. Make sure to check the vlogs. Peep the vlogs. That you know, it's one of those things where like, bro, especially having videos to like go back and
Oh yeah.
remember them. Like, bro, you don't realize how much you remember. Going back, you're like, damn, like this was my fucking weekend. Like,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah, that's
like,
why I appreciate all the times you take videos, man. It's cool to look back on. And then you gotta like be like top 5 sets of the weekend.
Top 5, top 5.
You always gotta give top 5 at the end too.
What do you think are your top 5 sets of all time?
Top 5 sets of all time is crazy.
Or we'll say of all time. They must have left a mark.
Yeah, no, I mean there are definitely a few. I might get the dates wrong, but regardless. So the first few that come to mind are, well, first, my first Lost Lands 2019. I was a big Illenium fan. That Sunday night Illenium back-to-back Excision. No order in
God.
these. These are all probably like top 5.
Yeah. Go
But
ahead.
Excision back-to-back Illenium, and we were like up at the front for like the last headlining set of the festival. Fireworks, insane. And that was also the first Lost Land, so it's like that alone was a crazy experience. So definitely that. I would say my first hijinks, I think it was 2019 when I saw Skrillex hijinks 2019.
Oh my God.
But like that night was crazy though, because it was Porter Robinson into Skrillex into Excision back-to-back Slander. So that whole
No
night,
lie though, Hijinks always has.
bro, they always put
the
out some
crazy
heat.
lineup.
It
Yeah,
is like
every
people
year.
can say what they want, like the lineup is fire.
The lineup's gonna be fire.
Yeah, and that set was so good. And then I think Electric Force 22 or 23, we saw Lab Group close out the festival, and that was like right after Charles the First died. So it was like heavy in there. Like usually you can hear people talking during shows. At Electric Force, everyone was like silent and like
Damn.
just like swaying the whole. It was like the whole crowd was like hypnotized. It was actually
Yeah.
insane. Like
And
you could
low-key,
feel
that's-
how heavy the air was.
And that's
in
what
there.
it looks like too. Like especially, I mean, granted, anytime an artist passes away, but like I think especially at EDM shows, like just with how rhythmic the music is, like, bro,
100%.
people are gonna be like, like you said, swaying and vibing exactly
Yeah.
how you'd expect. So yeah, damn, that's insane.
Yeah, no, it was
my
insane.
God.
It's, yeah, with that Charles the First, that hit different. So I think
Two
that
more.
was 3.
Two more.
Oh, that's tough. Because when people ask me, those are like the main 3 I give. But I would say Bonnaroo 2019, that when I saw Virtual Self for the first time, because that's when Porter just started doing the Virtual Self stuff. So I didn't even
Okay.
I remember being asking Raekwon, I was like, yo, where are we going next? He was like, Virtual Self. I was like, who? he was like, oh, this Porter Robinson. I was
Yeah,
like,
what's
no.
up with DJs having like I
Yeah.
get it, guys. Like we all want to change our branding, but like guys, we got 9 different.
Yeah,
9 different
no,
names,
literally,
yeah.
it was actually ridiculous. But that was 10 out of 10 too. If I had to do one more festival set, probably Illenium at Bonnaroo 20. So I think Virtual Self was 2018. Illenium Bonnaroo 2019 was crazy.
Three Illeniums.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
His old stuff was hitting. Like I understand, like his new stuff. Like he's still like a great artist. His new stuff isn't really like my cup of tea. But that old school Illenium, that hit different. Like all the Awake albums, Ashes, all that. Those were all different, bro. He's just so good at mixing live.
And what was your thought when he started like taking that little? I mean, let's be real. Porter, 2 people you named in those. Porter
I know,
Robinson
bro,
and
it's-
Illenium both. Like what? I mean, I think it's kind of hard, especially with EDM. I think because Skrillex was gone for so long. Like it was easy for him to come back and go as far one way and as far the other way as he wanted. But like, how is it, especially as a fan, right? Trying to follow an artist like, for instance, in Illenium and Porter Robinson, where they say, hey, like, yo, I know you guys like my shit. You guys gotta like this shit too.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Like how is that as a fan trying not to like? I mean, it's almost hard because like you don't want to like make an artist make stuff they don't want to make.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, no, I want them to make whatever they want to make. As a fan, I think that's, if you like you're actually a fan, like that's what any real fan would want. So it's like, even though I might not be like really fucking with all the newer music, I know at any point they're good enough where they could flip that switch and go back and like make some of like the old school stuff, which is cool. They don't have to, but I know they can. And also, even if they're making new stuff and I'm not really liking it, I can always dig back into the old catalogs. And then it also gives me opportunity to kind of find other artists that I like too.
I think also with EDM, it's one of those things where, like, for instance, an artist, they can always mix old music. Like you're not gonna hear you're not gonna hear Mariah Carey sing the same song she sang 10, 15 years ago, just because
unless it's on that Christmas album.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless it's a Christmas album, because like the thing is that they're just dated, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's the one thing you see. Like, you see it now with every rap artist. Like, being a rap artist, being a mainstream pop artist, like, you're only as relevant as your most recent song.
Oh, for sure. For sure. They'll get rid of you real fast.
They'll get rid of you.
Yeah.
Like, which is actually crazy because, like, I think some of my favorite sets have been sets where I'm like, damn, like, these songs are fucking crazy. And I'm like, I'm not fucking doing with the Shazam, like, fucking hanging up in the sky. And it shows
ID?
Like, yeah, like literally like ID. And it shows like that song that's like from like 2015. You know, like all those hidden gems.
Oh,
right?
oh,
so,
for
like,
sure.
I think like,
for sure.
especially in EDM, like it just I think it's hard to not be biased, but it almost seems like timeless and almost classic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With a lot of the music, because like,
sign of the times, man. Like the music evolves as the times do. So it's like you can see a certain time period just by listening to the music that was out at the time.
The culture is still pretty young. I think for like raving and
for sure.
I would say I think the biggest festivals, there's like, I think some of the biggest that people always talk about are like Coachella.
Yep.
Right. Tomorrowland.
Yep.
Burning Man.
Yep. I agree with all that.
Did I say EDC?
You didn't, but now you did.
EDC.
Yeah.
And then honestly, it has to go in there. I don't think it's the best, but Ultra.
Oh yeah, it's like iconic.
I think if you said those five, like what are people like? Oh, like those are festivals, and how far those festivals have come. Like, bro, it's night and day. And there's new festivals all the time. Like,
for sure.
I think of like 2 years ago, Elements started. Right?
Yeah, and their lineup's been crazy.
Their lineup's been crazy.
Yeah,
like,
and we talking about Hijinks. That's relatively new. It's not like Hijinks has been going on for like 10 years. Or this might be like like the sixth one.
Fifth, yeah,
something like that. Like relatively new.
Also too, I think it's like one of those things you see, especially with some of these festivals too. Like now, there's a lot of festivals that are taking a break after and granted, all those are like for their own reasons or whatever.
Right.
But like sometimes it is like, damn, like that was one of the greatest weekends of my life, and now they're taking a break for 2 years.
Yeah, now I won't be able to experience that. Yeah,
like
that's how I felt after my first Lost Lands, and then COVID hit, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna have to wait a whole another year to get back in there, or like we didn't know how long we were gonna have to wait.
And it was like was it 2 years?
Yeah. So 2019, then went back in 2021. So yeah.
This year especially, like, festivals were getting fucked. Like festivals are getting messed up. The amount of weather issues, like
Mother Nature was cooking this summer.
Like, for instance, again, to everybody that was like clowning on us for going to Bonnaroo, everybody was like clowning, like, bro, why you going to Bonnaroo? Bonnaroo's weather was amazing.
Amazing, bro. It's a little hot, but other than that, it's perfect. Meanwhile, Electric Forest lived the next weekend. They were getting rained out for like, I love Forest, but they got rained out most of the time. So it's like anything can happen, man. Anything can like make or break the festival.
So I would say also too, like, guys, don't get it wrong, you're not getting no refunds on that insurance.
Oh no.
Right. And like protect your
definitely not.
Well, honestly, protect your flights too. I think that's one thing that like has to be seen with festivals. Like, bro, if you gotta pay an extra $17-$20 to like protect a whole weekend flight, like
do it.
You should.
Do it.
Because like now we're seeing Izu. That was not even built.
Yeah, I heard that was a mess.
Yeah, I had friends that went and they were like, dude, like, one of my friends was like getting ready. He's like, day one, they literally sent out the message, we're getting ready. Everybody's like drunk at this point. We're about to get in an Uber and they're like, yeah, it's done.
Bro, that's
so,
great.
Like, nobody leaves.
Last minute too.
And then the next day he spends 4 hours in the line to get his wristband, and it ends up ending early. And then the last day they were at capacity. But at that point, people
0 for 3.
0 for 3, and then people were jumping over the fence. So like at that point, it's just it's mayhem. This went from like, okay, like maybe security's lax, like whatever, to like, oh, just
It's a free concert.
This is a free concert.
It's a free concert
right?
for the city. Looking for wristbands.
I know. Grabbing wristbands off
Yo,
people's wrists.
how'd you get in here?
Like, yeah, literally.
Where's your wristband?
Nobody have a wristband.
I know you didn't take it off.